Hey there, Kalyn here, and welcome to another video in the Too Many Cards series that Emily Leapart and I have created. Today we're using Newton's Nook Designs stamps and dies to make a Christmas themed card. The stamp set we're using is called the Cup of Cocoa stamp set, and we're also using the coordinating dies that go with it. I'm going to be making two projects in this video. The first one is a card, and then I'm going to be making a tag later on. So first for the card, I'm taking the adorable little drink stamps that come in the stamp set. It's called Cup of Cocoa because that kind of is the theme here. So lots of little mugs and cups with adorable little accessories and food items in them. So first I'm taking the mugs and I'm just stamping them on varying pattern papers. So I took some old pattern papers that I had because I have so many in my collection that I really am trying to use my scraps. So I'm just taking varying pattern papers I think look good together, and I'm stamping the same image on each different pattern. So that way I have one of each on each pattern and I can fussy cut some of the details out later. So that's what I'm doing here, just taking 4 different mugs and then stamping them once on each paper. As you can see, I'm also stamping some of these stamps on more of a white cream background, and that's because some of these drinks have little foam or like some milk froth on top, and one of them has some marshmallows. So I'm doing those on white so that I can cut those pieces out and adhere those to the tops. After I'm done doing all of my stamping, I'm just going to take the coordinating dies and die cut all of these out using my Sizzix Big Shot machine. So now what I'm doing is just fussy cutting lots of little details out to add to these. I really haven't played around with a ton of patterned paper lately, and that's just my favorite thing to do with paper crafting. I love patterns, so I wanted to bring that back in this and do a little bit of old school fussy cutting here. And it might seem kind of tedious, but it really didn't take that long, and afterwards I had 8 different pieces that I could use on varying projects, which is why I ended up doing a card and a tag for this video, because I had extra pieces. Each of these stamps has lots of really cute details on them, like stripes. The one mug has a heart, the other one has a snowflake, so it makes it really easy to do this type of technique with fussy cutting. You could also use some markers and color in those details as well if you wanted to, but I just love the layered look and all of these different patterns and how they go together. So that's the kind of little collection of die cuts that I had when I was all done stamping and fussy cutting. Now I'm working on the base of my card and going back to more patterned paper. This is from a basic gray collection. Like I said, it's a little bit old, but I will link them down below if they are still available. So just picking 2 patterns that I really liked, and I'm going to adhere those down to my card base. I just die cut a basic stitched oval with a die that I had and some patterned paper that was just really subtle and matched the cream card base. So that's going to be where I sit my 3 little drinks that are the focal point of this card. I chose just to do 3 instead of more since I already have a lot going on pattern wise. So I wanted to do 3 drinks in the middle, and then I'm using the Have a Cup of Cheer sentiment. So I'm just going to stamp that down using some black soot distress ink, which is the same ink that I used to do all of the stamping in. Now I'm taking some chipboard from the Crate Paper Fa La La collection. This was last year's Christmas collection. Again, I will link it if it's still available, but I just have to be real. This is what I use. I try to use all my old supplies. Even though I really want the latest and greatest, I still love these collections. So if you have this on hand, it is just still adorable, and it works well with other collections too. So I took this black wreath that I absolutely loved, and I thought that really brought more attention to my stamping. It just brings out the black from the outline as well as the sentiment. And it just helps give everything a really defined frame to look at, to draw your attention to. And it's also going to serve as a little bit of a three-dimensional lift for 2 of the mugs. So I'm using glue dots to adhere 2 of the mugs to that chipboard frame, and then I'm just going to take an adhesive foam square and pop up the middle mug so that way it's on the same level as the other 2. So I was just about done with the card, but decided it could use a little bit of sparkle to it, and I just got these Nuvo glitter drops in an order, so I decided to add some of those to the milk or the foam on top of my drinks. I just think it adds a nice little sparkle to it. So that's going to finish off the card using the Newton's Nook Cup of Cocoa stamp set, and then I'm going to move on to the tag I created. So I'm using the Fancy Edges tag die set from Newton's Nook, and I'm going to be making a tag using some of the cool edger pieces that come with it, as well as more patterned paper, and then some of the stamped mugs that I had already created for the previous card project. So I took some basically solid green patterned paper that has a little bit of distressing on it, and then took some red patterned paper and die cut out the tab that has a hole punch in it to add some string or ribbon, and put that over the top just to kind of reinforce that and add a little bit of color as well. Then I took this black and white polka dot patterned paper that I really loved and just kind of helped bring out that black element a little bit, and I decided to die cut that using one of the scalloped edge dies that comes with this tag set. So I just quick did that and then just cut it down with my scissors to fit the base of my tag. Now I'm using some red diagonal striped washi tape to adhere that down and just add a nice little transition between the solid green and the polka dot pattern. I glued down 2 of the mugs on the end and then decided to pop up the middle one using some adhesive foam squares. I debated on putting a sentiment on this tag, but decided I thought it would add a little bit of interest to it, so I die cut this little piece using one of the edge dies that creates kind of a nice triangle, and I just used some very subtle cream colored patterned paper. Then I decided to stamp the sentiment peppermint, spice, and everything nice on it, which I think is really cute. To top off the tag, I'm using some red satin ribbon, and I thought that looked cute, but I just wanted to add a little bit more and kind of bring in those black and white polka dots in a way, so I used some black and white baker's twine and just tied a little bow around the ribbon. I love doing this technique. I just think it adds a fun little bit of detail and just brings back more pattern, which I love as much pattern as I can fit on a project. After I trim the excess baker's twine, that's going to finish off the tag. I really hope you've enjoyed both of these projects and that they've given you some ideas as to how you can use these Newton's Nook stamps and dies. Be sure to also check out Emily's video to see how she used these supplies, and don't forget to enter our giveaway to win one of 2 $25 gift cards to Newton's Nook. All the details will be down in the description box of this video as well as on both of our blogs. Thank you so much for watching, and happy crafting!